If you are a woman living her best hot mess express life while simultaneously crushing it, and you're craving more clarity, purpose, and excellence, get ready because you're in the right spot. I am your host, Chelsea DeBruin-Colbert, and I want to welcome you to Season 2 of All Things Excellence, the podcast, where I'll be bringing you all the inspiration and insights your excellence-seeking heart desires. This season, I'm stepping back into chasing big, bold, and absolutely terrifying goals, sharing every honest step and misstep along the way. We're continuing our beloved Unscripted series, featuring live clarity coaching sessions with guests just like you, and diving deep into raw behind-the-scenes stories of powerhouse women founders I am wildly obsessed with, whose journeys will fuel your own. So grab your coffee, settle in, and get ready to discover just how close you are to the life your soul is calling you to create. This is All Things Excellence. Hey, All Things Excellence fam. Welcome to our final Financial Friday series of our 2-month series. I'm so excited. We couldn't end this on a better note than with wonderful friend, very longtime mentor of mine, Amy Kemp. She is the owner and CEO of Amy Kemp Inc. She is a certified habit finder coach who helps leaders understand their profound impact of their thought habits on their work and lives. She has guided hundreds, and we've got to be working into the thousands at this point if you really count it, of professionals through her Encounter small group coaching, one-on-one sessions, and workshops, all focused on replacing limiting subconscious patterns with healthy ones. Her first book, I love that, your first book, many to come, I See You, which if you're listening to this, you've probably already told me you need to read it a million times. It is a guide for women to make more, have more, and be more without more work, which reinforces her core message: you can't outwork your thought habits. I will tell you, you are the original person that ever brought up to me 14, 15 years ago that how my relationship with money was really impacting what the success I was allowing in my life. So welcome back.
Thank you. One of my favorite topics.
It is one of your favorite topics. It had to be in the 14, 15 year ago range. It was a long time ago that you told me to read the book Secrets of Six-Figure Women. That's what really got me obsessed and on my journey about this, to having a better relationship with money, and then also specifically how I was valuing my time. So, y'all, we're going to hit a couple topics around here because a lot of the work that you do is around this very thing, valuing your everything and how it all ties back to money. So let's get started with the number one tool that you use with people, which if you're watching the YouTube, you can see me holding this little packet because I'm a nerd. I don't print things and staple them. I print them and bind them. Kobe and I own a binder, binding machine. So I'm holding a habit finder assessment. So what do you use this for? And how does it show a woman's relationship with money?
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, what did you say when I said this before I hit record? What did you say? I said,
I
this
said
shows
I
money,
often
right?
can look at the results and pretty much tell you how much someone earns. It's really fascinating. Not always. It's not
Yeah.
always accurate, but I can get a pretty good gauge. So this tool is very unique in that it is not a tool that measures personality or strengths or characteristics. We all are having millions of thoughts happen in our head every day. 80% of them are happening below the surface at the subconscious level.
Yeah.
Almost, actually, not even almost. We are hardwired to survive.
We are.
So, at the subconscious level, if you do something and it helps you survive, that is reinforced and becomes a deeper, more pronounced pattern in your thinking. And these habits of thinking are happening all below the surface. And in fact, today I was just talking to a client. She said, I know I shouldn't be doing that, or I should be doing that, fill in the blank, right? I know I should be using a budget to run my business, or I know I
Yeah.
should be getting up earlier in the morning and spending time journaling and reading. It's like, I'm not even in opposition to that, but I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
So
And
that's something that you're seeing a lot in this. Like the the quote that I love most from Overcoming Under Earning, the helping others at the detriment to myself is anything but noble. There's
And
a thought habit around
I'll,
that, right?
I'll go deeper.
Yeah.
If helping others is the way that you survived and your brain was programmed that that is true, then stopping that habit runs
Mm,
contrary to your very survival instinct subconsciously. So it's like your whole body is screaming danger when you stop doing that
yeah.
or when you introduce something different. And so changing these habits of thinking is very slow and very incremental because you cannot freak out the survival mechanism. But I say this a lot. When you employ a survival mechanism past the point of needing it, it becomes detrimental and damaging.
Mm. We talked about my current struggle bus, and it's that. It's for some, like the helping others equals survival, it equals peace, it equals a lot of things, I guess,
Well,
in
yeah,
general.
it's what you did to survive for so long.
So long. And it was so long that I didn't even notice. I mean, I can't say I didn't notice. I was always in therapy. I was always being coached. I was always being told this is a codependent habit. And I was like, okay, well, I get that it's codependency, but it's the only way to keep surviving in the current environment that I'm in unless I burn my entire life to the ground and just go somewhere different.
100%.
So that's why I'm currently, that would be why I'm keeping underpaying gigs,
Yeah,
which is referenced in our
because
favorite book.
that's how you survived. So the even though it's not logical, your subconscious mind doesn't operate in logic.
Yeah.
It's not it doesn't do the deeper, more like strategic thinking. It just does survival, right? And a lot
Yes.
of times that's
Like
good
that's a
because
tiger run.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. But I definitely see in the areas of money these things showing up a
Hmm.
lot.
Yeah.
The other piece of this subconscious habits of thinking is that we subconsciously start to attach conditions to our feeling of value. So I am valuable if I work really hard. I'm valuable if I'm pretty. I'm valuable if I'm a certain body size. I'm valuable if I get recognition. I'm valuable if someone praises me, right? We start to subconsciously attach our feelings of value to those external things over which we have no control.
I have the thing that I'm constantly working through is that even if I do all the even if I earn my way into the room, I'm probably not going to be let into the room. So the only way to get into the room is to be helpful.
There it is. Mhm.
But helpful is always very low pay to free. Right.
And
And
we
that
go
was
back to the first part of that. The first part is I'm not going to what? I can't earn my way
even
in.
if I earn the right to be in the room, I'm not going to be allowed in the room.
Oh,
It's real. Uh well, truthfully, I'm starting on the therapy session. You're too much, you make people's heads spin. Um
oh.
a lot of that. Yeah.
Hmm. Well, and just in general for
Like
women,
I'm more strategic. I'm not more I would always like share a lot of strategy and heavy thoughts as opposed to feelings.
yeah, which is unique. Probably had you grown up in corporate America, you would have thrived,
I
right?
Yeah.
No
I did
feelings.
thrive in corporate America. Like I thrived really well. I was like number
Yeah,
one intern. They loved me.
no, no
Yeah.
feelings allowed.
Yeah.
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 Um,
But it did
all that,
create that. It created that if you're not leading with the feelings and the feel good, you're not going to be let in the room. And I didn't know just because of who I am, I didn't know the only way for me to then do to be that person is to lay down the achiever version of me, which just so you know, this little packet that's about 5 years old is the packet where you said your dreamer is basically broken. Like you could tell from this that my dreamer was broken, but it was that thought habit that caused me to, okay, I need to lay down my dreamer, I need to lay down my achieving, and I just need to be kind and loving and helpful. And so it created that habit, that thought habit of,
That's how you survived.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Mhm. Right.
yeah.
So then
You see
what
that
is
then coming
being
out in their income.
what's being asked of you now that's in opposition to that?
Oh, you mean that Kobe's working for $21 an hour and I have to make money to live a I just want to live a good life, y'all. I'm not even asking for $10 million. dollars. Not that I'm opposed to $10 million. Dollars.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's so then I say would say it's being asked of me to step up and to not work more, but the time that I am, because I can't work more. I don't have the time to work more, so it's the time that I am working to value myself more. So I'm being asked to value myself more, to be able to charge more
Understand
or
your
more.
value at a higher level also, right? To
Mhm.
understand that your
Yeah.
contribution is valuable at a higher
Yes.
level in the economy and the marketplace today than what you're
Hmm.
asking for it in certain
Yeah.
settings.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And so you can go through this and
But
see
can
those.
you see how for so long the keeping yourself small is what kept you safe and got you access to the room? So
Hmm.
now to like ask
Hmm.
more is running contrary to that.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
What I know to be true about a lot of women, and this is actually factually true, is that when you expand and take up more space in the world,
Yeah.
even physically, right? Like I'm really tall, but like even when you physically are like bigger, or your energy is bigger, or your power is bigger, um, it is dangerous.
Hmm. As women, we feel that in general, correct?
Yeah, and
Pretty.
basically it will keep you out of rooms of women a lot of times. Um,
Mm,
and for most women,
yeah.
that's what they've experienced.
Experienced.
But
Okay.
also, when I say expand, I mean when you allow more money to move toward you, when you receive money at higher amounts, that is dangerous. We historically women who have been too loud too much, I mean legitimately like we're burned at the stake.
Yes.
We have a lot of generational like knowledge of
Yeah.
that staying
Yeah.
small is how we kept safe.
And
So
survived.
we're fighting against a lot of like survival instincts when we are saying to women, go make more money, go take on the bigger role, go become more visible. Like it runs in the face of a lot of
Yeah.
that programming. But money in particular is an interesting mirror of that. It gives us a lot of really interesting information about how much space we're taking up.
I do think it's that then allowing yourself allowing yourself to expand, allowing more money to move towards you, which before we hit record, we were talking about we co have this favorite book. It's called Illusion of Money by Kyle Cease. And this is the book you'll Amy didn't go, "Oh, it might be a good book. Oh, I think I've loved this book. Oh, you should entertain this book." We were I know where we were sitting on a couch in Miami. We were on like the 21st or the 24th floor. I remember it so well. And she said, "You will go home and you will read this book." Okay, ma'am. Yes, I will go home and read this book, which I actually already owned because she told me I should read it 2 years prior. And then she said, "You will read this book." Her command came out, sent me home to read it. And in this book, I was saying to her, the number one struggle I'm having right now is there's a part of the book where it talks about how it, I don't know if it really is like 300 per $3,000 gigs, but you can kind of explain this book and where I'm struggling to release those things. But one thing that you said was that because we are wired to survive, we will hold on to those things that we feel are survival. So I allowing myself to fully release these small gigs that I think it's less about the fact that they're just money because the money is so small, it barely matters. And it's more about, well, those are the ways that I'm being helpful. And will I still have access to rooms if I release those ways that I'm being helpful? But in this book, you have to release those to move in to fully step into. You can, she will say it so much better than I will.
Well, so the story is about this musician, Sarah,
Mhm.
who is basically once a week playing this gig in a bar for $300 a night. She starts to understand her value in new ways, and she starts to get like, he's challenging her, like, you're worth $10,000 a night. You could be earning $10,000 a night for the same exact work, right? But she was still performing at that bar on the weekends for $300 a night. And he says, it was very obvious to me that that constantly going back to this place that valued her at a level below what she was actually worth was a major thing that was creating a lower internal value in her. She had a story around this bar that made her afraid to leave it, and it was also making her unable to receive the amazing possibilities that were right in front of her. And so it's like about
Yes.
expanding to the level where, like, you're on the edge of not being sure you're even worth it, but like it feels sort of like a blend of terrifying and exciting kind of a feeling, like that expansive feeling. And there is like a fear, like an undercurrent of fear in that expansiveness. In fact, I just read another really great book. I'll tell you about it later because I don't want to give too many books. It's confusing. But in this book, she talks about a thing called the victory hangover.
Oh, I feel it. I was going to say, have you ever noticed the women? I know this is a thing where women talk to you about that pinging up and then coming back down and then pinging up and then coming back down.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
kind of like that, right? Almost a victory hangover. Like I hit it and now I'm pulling
Yeah.
up.
And your body, remember, is hardwired to survive. So any change, even if it's positive, your body registers as not good. It's like dangerous. So when you expand, like when your energy expands into a new like way of moving through the world that is more powerful. So let's just say maybe you sold more in a month than you've ever sold, or you
Mhm.
get the promotion to the big role and you now have the big title in the corner office, or maybe your business has more revenue than ever before and like you're asked to speak on stage and you at your company event or whatever, right?
Yes.
Often after that moment, you'll experience like a few days where it's almost like a brain fog, exhaustion, can't get myself moving. It's your body trying to recalibrate, like, and a lot of times people think, oh, I did something wrong that I'm feeling this way. But what I want to suggest is that that is actually a sign that you are expanding. You're becoming more, you're stepping more toward the $10,000 gig instead of the $300 one, right? And moving into like this new realm out of the fear. But I find this sounds so silly. I find a lot of times it's more comfortable for me to struggle than it is for me to accept huge quantities of abundant increase.
Well, there's that quote about, I know I'm in hell, but the signs are all familiar here.
Uh,
Like it's easier for us to be scrappy and figure it out than it is for us to accept ease and abundance.
yes.
I feel that massively, almost because it's like, well, that's familiar, which I know somebody might be going, how could $100,000 being thrown your way? What do you mean that's not familiar? And I'm like, well, it's more familiar to just be a creative business owner.
Well, it's
You know?
also safer in some ways because nobody's paying attention to me then.
Yeah,
You know,
that is so true.
I have gotten a lot of feedback from people throughout the years as I have expanded and asked more for my unique genius, like the work I do.
Hmm.
And I've gotten a lot of interesting feedback from people about it. I've
Uh-huh.
learned to observe it more as like what it says about that person than what it says about me. But even just recently, like I got someone sent me a text, which it's funny, I don't charge hourly. I think of my work more like from a value-based fee, but
Yeah.
this person had taken my fee and divided it or something, and then he said to me like, "Wow, that's a lot per hour, fill in the blank," you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and I said, "Yeah, it sure is." And then
Yeah.
I was waiting, like, and then he said, like, "Wow." And I said, "Isn't that amazing?"
Yeah.
And I just like let it sit there, right? But to hold that space is awkward, especially as a woman, to just let it sit in that like celebration of it. I had another person recently who I knew in another world
Yeah.
decades ago,
Yeah.
and she reached out to me and she said, "So I spent some time on your website."
Oh.
And she said, "I was noticing your fees." And she said, "Do people really pay you that much?"
Yes, ma'am, they do.
And
Could
so
be.
I paused. I like paused because I thought, okay, like that's an interesting question.
Yeah.
And
Maybe
I
she
said,
literally just was curious.
yeah. And I said, well, you know what the really important thing is that I've learned is that I'm worth that much.
Agreed. Agreed.
And we had this moment, but like, what does it mean for me to say that? What do I have to believe about myself? Is that okay?
Hmm.
Can I do that? Like where
Yeah.
is that being modeled? Not very many places,
Yeah.
right? Um, and
You
yeah,
have been such a great example to me, though. Like what that guy did, I've done that myself. I know myself actually what the math of that is on your website because I did it maybe like a year and a half ago, and then I brought that to Kobe and said, I want to feel that way about myself. Like I
yeah,
want that. Like
mm,
I agree that it is because he is always the one that says to me, nobody swing, like let's say Enneagram typing. Let's just use that as an example. He's like, nobody is better at swinging an Enneagram typing hammer than you. Nobody. He's like, somebody gets on there within 3 minutes, you pretty much know what their type is, and then you entertain them for like the next 27 minutes. And he goes, some people, could charge 5 times what you're charging and give somebody 2 hours, whatever, and validate the money. And he's like, but why? Like you just saved them so much time. You knew within the first 3 to 7 minutes what their type was. And that deserves to be compensated more, not less. Because the time was less doesn't mean that you charge less, And this
it's so
guy
true. And
making
it is
$21 an hour is blowing everyone's
it's a
face.
value-based
It's value
proposition.
based.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not
the
a time-based
transformation.
proposition. And sometimes, like, especially people who have worked in an exchange of time for money
Yeah.
kind of system for a long time, that's
Mhm.
outside of the realm of the way they think. So they apply that thinking over in a different space. But I understand that. But here's the other thing.
Wow.
For a while, I was like, well, I know it's worth it because of the outcomes my clients get, right? Like, because I can measure it, because I see the very tangible, significant life change and income change in their outcomes.
Yeah.
And that's why I can charge that.
Hmm.
But then, even that, I was like, no, I don't even think I need to attach that to it as a condition. I think that I can just stand in my own knowing of my
Yeah.
value.
So what does that look like for you now? I mean, one thing I want to know is where did you start seeing this showing up for yourself? I love the story in the book when you talk about y'all were sitting in your financial planner's office and realizing if you wanted to hit the goals, and y'all are going to read this book, and one of the goals in there is them paying for their kids' college. And I think a lot of people would look at that and go, "Well, we're just not going to pay for our kids' college." I'm like, "That's not the point. It's not the point that she should or shouldn't pay for her kids' colleges. The point
No.
is these were the goals, and if she kept doing what she was going to do, she wasn't going to hit it, and her husband's job wasn't movable. He works for a school. He's an like athletic director, principal type of role. Talks about it in the book. So that's fixed. The only thing variable to help them hit their goals was your income and how much money you were making. I love when someone said, "Well, when will it ever be enough?" and that you didn't let that stop you. But when, because it was before this, like when were you starting to realize, money is a mirror and you
Mhm.
had to do something internally to get this all to shift?
It's been such a long journey
Yeah.
of
You
re
started on it a long time ago.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Redefining my relationship with money, my understanding of what it represented,
Yeah.
even just becoming comfortable talking about it a lot and really asking questions about it and becoming curious, and then knowing my money, like knowing where it was going, knowing how much I was actually earning, learning
Mm.
a lot about just how women brush that aside or they use platitudes like, well, it doesn't really matter if I'm providing a great service, or I'd love
I'm
to
doing the
earn more.
Lord's work.
I'd love to earn more so I can give more away. I hear that one a lot. I hear just a shock. Today this happened with a past client who we worked together in 2018. I couldn't believe it had been that long. She moved to a different state, and she said, I'm earning 5 times what I was earning when I met you, when we started this journey together.
Okay.
And then there's like a new opportunity that she was thinking about. And she said, but I'm just not sure. Like, I'm already earning this much. It felt like
Yeah.
too much even for her to even fathom that she was
Even
earning
accept the
this much.
job. Like to
Right.
accept the job, she realized I'm going to have to increase what I'm allowing myself to accept.
Yeah. But like, but even then she was like,
Beautiful.
it's so
Beautiful.
much. Like, is there room for more? And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know that it even matters. Like, so let me give a premise about this that was life altering that I return to time and time again. We give our power away to money in so many ways to allow it to make us feel certain ways. My risk is that the money, I allow it to make me feel safe or unsafe. So if you think about money, and then I would challenge you to think about like a dollar amount where if I dropped it into your bank account right now, it would feel not like $3 trillion where it's not like lotto fantasy, but more like an amount of money where you're like, wow, that would be significant. Like it could make an
Yeah.
impact, right?
Yeah.
How would I feel knowing that was in my bank account right now? Can I ask you, like, how would that feel to you if you knew?
So I was thinking, like, what would be, I mean, I don't know why the number like 300,000 came to my mind. I'm like, okay, if there was $300,000 in my bank account right now, I'm like, I know the initial things that I would do with it, right? The
Not what
initial,
you would do, how would you
yeah.
feel?
Well, because that's where I went. I went, okay, so I know the initial things that I would do with it, and then there's money left. And then I went, would I keep doing what I'm doing? So then I'm like, I don't, I feel very like I might upset my entire life because I think the things that I do on a daily basis, I probably wouldn't do. And then I went, how many things am I doing? Do I even want to do this? And
Do
then I
you
think about the
feel,
conflict that that might bring.
but does it feel free?
It it feels more I don't know if the word is like disillusioned. It's like a well, now what are we going to do? Okay, so if we're not doing these things for money
What are
because
we
we don't
doing?
need it, what am I going to do?
So, in some ways, it's driving your decisions about what you do because your
Mhm.
first thing was, what would I do, 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 do? So,
Yeah,
there's some sort of connection between money and doing that is
absolutely.
very tightly intertwined,
Absolutely. Yes, yes,
right?
yes.
For me, it's always safe. I would feel safe.
Yeah. You would probably keep doing what you're doing.
I mean, I don't know, but I would feel
Yeah. Yeah.
relief, safe, right? Okay,
Hmm.
so here's the
Hmm.
exercise.
Yeah.
Can I access that feeling without that money in my bank account?
Oh,
So, can I access the
yeah.
feeling of safety, of freedom, of creative exploration, of contentment, of excitement? Okay. Can I
Hmm.
access that feeling right now? Yeah, I can. I can access the, because it's just a feeling, right? Like it's just an illusion. I'm giving money the power to make me feel that
Uh-huh.
way or not. But I
Yeah.
can access that feeling right now, even if I'm in the hole filing for bankruptcy. I can find a very small space where I can feel the feeling of safety inside of me. Okay.
So there's a book that talks about your core need, and from reading, I realized my core need is autonomy, which I think is why it's what would I do? Because it really autonomy at the end of the day is getting to do whatever I want to do whenever I want to do it.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so I think going, okay, well, if there was just like somebody randomly was like, well, here's an extra $1 million, like, oh, well, now what am I going to do?
And how would that feel to you?
I, I mean, I don't even know what to do. I'm like, what am I doing? What, like, wait, what are we doing?
Hmm.
And I think that's why it goes back to that doing, because at the end of the day, it's all about autonomy, like getting to do whatever I want to do whenever I want to do it. So I'm like, oh,
But do you
oh,
see how, like, if
yeah,
you right now,
yeah,
the feeling that it brings up in you is like, I don't even know what I would do,
yeah,
you're not going to do that. You're not going to
yeah,
do the thing that creates the $300,000 dropped into your bank account because that's not a good feeling.
yeah. Because I genuinely, that's my thought is, well,
It would lose
now what am I going to do? Like
all
literally,
of
now
the,
what am I going to do?
I would
And
have
I
no
don't mean,
compass from which to make decisions, right? Like I would
yeah,
have no
I'm
idea
like,
what I would say yes to or no to.
yeah, like, are we working? Or are we just going to invest it well, and I'm just going to be a soccer wife? Or, I mean, I don't know. Like maybe we'd have kids tomorrow, or, I mean, I don't. Shoot, I don't know. I mean, I think I also have a little bit of like part of my money struggle is like, well, shoot, if I hit this goal, then that's no longer my barrier. Going like, I just don't know about those kids thing. I don't know about that kids thing, and then
This is
that's just a whole other.
protecting you from having
Yeah.
to make that decision.
Yes. I can. Okay, I see this.
Okay, all I'm
Yeah.
saying is none of this is really about money.
Yeah.
Always, money is just a mirror that allows us to see things that we can't accurately see without it as a medium. Like we see through it things that we wouldn't be able to see otherwise. The other thing is that money does not, like, so for in my example, when you're afraid and you don't feel safe and you feel scared, then you're kind of clingy and needy.
Yeah.
Well, just like a relationship with a person, I don't want to be in a relationship with someone who feels like that.
Yes.
And money is energetic. It doesn't want to be in your space when you feel like that. It doesn't move toward that kind of energy. I was
Yes.
talking to a client this past weekend. She said she's leaving a situation, a relationship where there was no need to think about money and worry about it. Okay. And then moving into like an independent, now I'm going to be responsible
Yeah.
for, and she said, I just really want it to be where I feel the same kind of peace that I felt in that situation where I don't have to think about it all the time. She said, I wasn't even spending it. I wasn't even doing anything. I just felt, and I said, then feel that way moving forward. Stop giving money and the amount of it in your bank account the power to make you feel a certain way.
Hmm.
That is
Hmm.
such a victim mindset,
Yeah.
and money doesn't move toward victim mindsets.
Money doesn't move toward victim mindsets. And that's, I think that was it took me a long time to understand when you were saying money is a mirror, and his book, The Illusion of Money, and how whatever is like the thing that's keeping you from getting it is literally we're saying money, but it really is the direct reflection of thoughts and habits that thoughts like thought habits that you're having in your life, which is why you can so easily see from someone taking this
I
assessment and
mean,
walking through this
what
assessment.
it like what is money? It's even now like it's not even a bill. We don't even use bills. What
No.
it's an illusion, right? It's just
Mhm.
a thing. It's an idea. We are giving the value to it by
Yeah.
saying this is worth that digit on my computer screen is worth this, right? We're always assigning the value to it. So we are deciding what its value is, and then we're living according to that. What I'm suggesting is I know it sounds trite when you're like in a place where you're struggling financially to be like, just don't worry about it. Da, 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 da. What I'm
Uh-huh.
saying is access the feeling you think it will give you and walk into your day feeling that way. I guarantee more money will move toward you.
Yeah,
So in
I
my
believe that.
example, if I walk into the day feeling safe and secure, I'm going to perform at a much higher level that's going to bring more money to me than if I go into the day feeling unsafe, insecure, and scared, right?
Oh, actually, this makes a lot of sense right now because knowing that soccer season was coming and knowing that I had less control of everything, everything, right? With my husband being a head soccer coach, a 7 through 12 program, less control of everything has caused me to feel out of control everywhere and every part of the income. I have income coming from so many places, but looked back at the month and went, last month and went, all of my income went down. But it really, because it's just a reflection of how it would be in control, I feel, right? The autonomy, like what am I actually going to do?
Hmm.
So that makes
Does the
sense.
money make you feel like you have more control?
It makes me feel like I have more control over what I get to do whenever I want to do it.
Okay. So it makes you feel powerful, like
Yeah.
you have agency.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Like, oh, you guys are in Hawaii? I want to be in Hawaii. You should come to Hawaii. I'm gonna book a flight right now. Let's go.
Okay.
Or it's like, oh, I see that program and I feel like that would be great for me to do. I want to do that. Like, yeah, an
Mhm.
easy yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, so are you more likely to earn more money if you are walking through your day believing you have agency and choice exactly as your bank account is right now, or
Hmm.
waiting until you have more money to feel that way?
Wait, say that again.
So like I know it's kind of deep and it's like, but
Yeah.
it's very real.
Yeah.
Are you more likely to earn more money if you walk into your day
Hmm.
believing you have agency and choice and freedom and living in that energy, right? Versus believing that if you had more money, you will have that.
No, I think I have a problem. I don't know if I actually believe internally that I can have both.
Oh, wait, you can have both what? The choice and the money?
The autonomy and the money.
The autonomy to make the choices you want?
Yeah, I don't know if I believe that, and I know other people have it. I get that. I don't know if I believe that I can have all of the autonomy with doing what I want to do and being an entrepreneur because I do enjoy it. I do genuinely enjoy all the things that I do. I don't know if I believe that I can have control of my schedule and my life and the money, or if the only way to get it is to go get this job where the job kind of does control me, but then at least I have the money. And I've also watched a couple friends choose that in the last year. I had three really, really, really good close friends that we were all doing the same thing, stop doing that, and then go start making very significant income. And I'm like, I would lose my autonomy, but I would gain the income. And somebody said to
Oh,
me, "Do
that's a
you?"
systemic thought, all or nothing.
Yeah, yeah. They're like, "Do you really want their path, or do you just want their energy?" And I'm like, "Well, I just want their energy. No, I don't want their path. But if the only way to have their energy is the path, like, I don't know, man."
I mean, here's the other thing.
Yeah,
I'm not a person who believes it's like an either or proposition.
yeah.
I think there are places where you
Mm,
can be employed and have gobs of freedom and gobs of money. I
mm-hmm.
think you can be
True.
an entrepreneur and have gobs of money and no freedom,
Agreed. Agreed. Or
right?
your
I mean,
business absolutely owns you.
I think it can be either way in either setting. Um, so I think it's about finding the fit for you
Mm,
in this season of your life.
yeah.
And there are times where entrepreneurship is a luxury that you don't get to have. I mean, I remember times with clients who are single parents who have like kids with medical needs. Well, guess what? We need health insurance that's really good,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So that
Yes.
while they have a choice in that, the more wise choice was for them to be in a traditional role where they had paid sick leave and healthcare benefits.
Mm,
And that was like a choice. They had agency in it
yeah.
and autonomy in that choice, right? That was what they were choosing. And then there are other times where I have felt like that became like a golden handcuff.
Hmm.
And but I don't think there's a right or a wrong in either setting. I think it's just finding the way that feels best for where you are right now and what your needs are and your family's needs are.
Huh.
But I'm not one that's like, oh, only
Yeah.
entrepreneurs have freedom.
Yeah.
False. In
That
a
is
lot of
beautiful.
ways, I mean, if I have surgery right now, no one's paying me for 6 weeks while I take time off
Mm,
to recover. But if I
yeah.
work for someone else, that's freedom,
Yeah.
you
But I've
know?
said that a lot to people who are like, "Oh, just have the kids, you'll figure it out." I'm like, when you're the primary income earner and your income is directly based on you getting to show up, and then you're pregnant for 9 months, so you can cross your fingers. And they're like, "It'll be fine." I'm like, "You hope it'll be fine." Like, I don't know, I'm 40. Like, I hope it would be fine. I hope I wouldn't be on bed rest, right? And then you have the baby, and it's like, it'll be fine. You're like, sure. I mean, I hope that it would be fine. And I guess then do I have to go back to work right away? Like, what if I don't want to go back to work right away? Like, what if I want to have my own maternity leave? And so that's where I agree with you on that. And I think it's
Mhm.
hard. I think it's hard with both of those things. Real quick, before we dive back in, I want to share something I created for the women who are growing but still kind of feel like they're doing it alone. If that statement just hit, then this is for you. I've never felt so aligned and so alone. Is the message I kept hearing as more and more women were falling in love with their life doing what they were born to do. They were craving that like minded, iron sharpening iron relationship with other women who were as focused, powerful, and determined to be positive as they were. And that is why I created the Growth Collective. It's our All Things Excellence book club community where you don't have to read the book because audio and PDF cliff notes are provided for you. There's a community for you to connect and network with other growth minded women, plus 2 monthly Zooms where you receive connection and live coaching from me. Head on over to chelseadbc.com/book club to join us. All right, let's get back into it because what you're hearing today is exactly why spaces like the Growth Collective exist. We were never meant to grow alone. So then that also brings in my other thing that I love that you talk about constantly is unpaid labor. Like
So much,
all the
yeah.
people said amen. And a lot of women listening to this, you don't, they're like unpaid labor. What does that even mean?
Yeah, so historically, it used to be in the 1950s that one person would leave the home, go out and work somewhere, and bring home a wage that could support the whole family. The other person typically stayed home and did all of the unpaid labor of taking care of a house, the cooking and food preparation and gift buying and caretaking and cleaning and appointment making and um,
Appointment making
and
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 appointment
and
making.
writing and just all of that.
All that.
And what happened was that when women started to enter the workforce, um, they took on the labor of paid labor, right? Like they took on the
Mhm.
full-time work, but they did not leave behind the unpaid labor that they were already doing. Now, it is not true that in every household, in a lot of households, it's divided evenly and people share the weight of that. So it's not even gender specific because I have men clients who do the majority of the unpaid labor also, right? And
Mhm.
actually, it's fascinating to talk to like a single dad about this because they really understand it. Like they really get it, right?
Yeah.
But in any case, all that to say, in this current economy, it's nearly impossible to support an entire family on one income. You have to make so much money. So we need to have a real open conversation about the value of the unpaid labor that's being done and what it contributes because it is vital to having healthy marriages and families and communities and homes, right? Like it's vital work. I want my kids to be celebrated on their birthdays or I want them to go to the dentist, I want and then I also run into a lot of times people will say like, "Well, I don't have children," like in your case when we in my book there's an unpaid labor survey. So I was like, I wonder how many of these things have to do with kids. Two.
Believe that because I yesterday had to do so much unpaid labor throughout the day. It's like 1 minute I'm working on my business, and the next minute I'm meal prepping, and the next minute I'm going, what's the grocery list? And the next minute I'm going, okay, this is what he needs to have to function at the soccer parent meeting tonight, which I don't get paid for, has nothing to do, and then I'm taking care of the dog, and then I'm booking appointments and for our life,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
dentist and vision and, like
Vacation. Who's planning the
tossing laundry.
vacation? Yeah.
I
Like
yes, I'm
who's
literally trying
buying?
to figure out our trip this weekend while
Yeah.
I'm tossing laundry in and I'm on the phone talking,
Mhm. And
to
pulling the meat out to thaw for dinner and
literally actually yes, I was literally was doing all of that
all of
while
it.
I'm doing my job.
Yes. And even
Yeah. Yeah.
who's sending out the Christmas cards and who's, getting the
Who's getting
family
the
gift
addresses for the Christmas?
exchange and yeah, I mean just all of that,
All of
right?
it.
And
Hmm.
all of it is really important. I think it's also very important to note that if you and your family dynamic have chosen to do the unpaid labor, that you not undervalue it and that you understand that whoever is earning the money is only able to earn it because you are doing all of the unpaid labor, right? And so it is really important that you recognize the value of your contribution to that. I'm in no way suggesting this isn't valuable labor. I'm
Yeah.
suggesting that it's unpaid, right?
Yes.
The
Yes.
other thing is, if you are working full time, I tried to interview so many women for my book who said, do not put my name in your book if you're interviewing me about this. And I wanted to say, why are you embarrassed
Hmm.
if you are managing a $20 million account for Google, that
Hmm.
you have someone help you with your laundry and your cooking and your cleaning? Like, if,
I
if, if a man said that, he would be celebrated and it wouldn't even be expected that he would do any of that if he had that job, right? It wouldn't even go through anyone's mind, right? And if he even did a load of laundry, people would probably fall over themselves clapping for him. I'm just,
it's like the guy who makes $1 million a year and has someone else take care of his yard. Why would anyone think anything of that?
why? I
No
don't
one.
under, they
No one
wouldn't.
would bat an eye. I remember when you hired your laundry service out. I remember when you first trained about that. And I thought, at the moment, I was like, oh, I think I'd stay on top of that just great. Well, the reality of that was Kobe was either not working or he was only, I say only working 40 hours a week because once you start working for a school, you will never only work 40 hours a week as long as you ever live. You will stipend yourself to death somehow because the most willing are the ones who do all the things. And so now that he works a zillion hours a week for, $10 to $20 an hour when it all factors out, I have somebody should come do my laundry. It's the hardest. I don't know why it's the hardest thing in the world to keep. Now I get why you paid it out. I'm like, yeah,
We just have a lot of expectations for ourselves
yeah,
and that are
yeah.
cultural about what we should do. And then I hear a lot of like, well, they wouldn't do it like I would do it. And na 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 na. I hear a lot of that. I also just want to suggest that I would rather you pay another person
Hmm.
and let them support their family for doing that work than to like just kill yourself trying to do it and keep up with everything. And or if you are carrying unpaid labor that is important to you and you don't want to give it up, caretaking for your children or like I don't give up the gift buying in that. I'm doing it. I love
Yeah,
it. I'm doing that, right?
yeah.
So also know that if your business doesn't grow as fast as the dude who has the wife who's doing all
Mm,
that for him, or if you don't move up the ladder as quickly as someone who doesn't have the heavy unpaid labor load that you do, that's okay. Like there's a pace and an energy issue there.
yeah,
And there are a lot of things that those people aren't doing that you're doing that
yeah.
there's no need to apologize or feel bad. There's nothing wrong with you. You just are carrying a more full load right now on that front. So,
It's kind of a
um,
great like, grace with your growth pace. If you have unpaid
totally.
labor, it's really important that you continue.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just acknowledge it.
yeah. I
Mhm.
love it. We could make an entire whopping series out of
I
everything that
know.
Amy's done. You, okay, I'm gonna pull an Amy. You will run to Amazon and you will order her book. I see you.
Mm-mm.
And you will go to her website and you will get some of her money courses because they are the very best money courses that there are. And you will take your habit finder assessment and she will definitely help you find places in there where all of this is popping up. So we love ending every episode of All Things Excellence with just a really huge permission to women. So what is, if anything, around money, around unpaid labor, around that thing, that those patterns that you're seeing pop up the most when you are working with women, what is the greatest piece, the greatest permission, like piece of permission that you would love to give to women on the topic of money?
Yeah. You will not increase your income until you increase your capacity to earn it. And no one does that in isolation. So take
Interesting.
the course,
Yeah.
hire the coach, join the group. I don't care what, but this expansion happens in community, particularly for women. We grow in community. And so I want to give you permission that without guilt, you spend a portion of money and time on your own personal growth and development because your income can't grow past that. It can't. And then if it does, you'll self sabotage and bring it back down.
Hmm.
So do the expansion work of on yourself. The money will come and fill the gap. The
Yeah.
money is secondary. It's just a reflection of that.
It
But
is one of those places though. Like you will don't go buy the $300 pair of shoes and expect that the money might come, but
no, no,
definitely invest in the
in
courses,
you,
the coach, and the
in
money
growing
really,
you. Yes.
the money will come. You are the person, before we go, you are the person that said you do not, you showed me the grid and said you do not increase your income and then hire the help. You hire the help and it will increase your capacity and therefore it will increase your income.
And every time it feels like the wrong thing to
Yep,
do.
it
Doesn't
does.
feel good.
Yep. I just moved across the country. I just left tiny Iowa for a $400 mortgage and traded it for $1,500 rent in North Dallas. And you said that it was June 2013. And I just did it that night and everything changed. I quadrupled my business in 9 months and it was extraordinary. So thank you. Thank you for your diligence and dedication to women, to helping them do this. But thank you personally
Mhm.
just for
Yeah.
everything that you did for me.
Mm.
I will always be so grateful how you always gave me that next step. But most importantly, just I never felt alone on the step that I was on because of you. So you're the best.
Awesome. Appreciate
All right,
you.
all things excellence, fam. Go flood her stuff. It's always great. It's always wonderful. I've been loving everything she does for 15 years, listening to every recording she ever put out, reading every book, all the deals. So go do that. Go give her a follow. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, All Things Excellence fam, we will talk to you next time. Thanks for listening to All Things Excellence. If something landed with you today, I'd love for you to follow the show, share it with a friend, or leave a quick review. It helps more women find these transformational conversations. And if you're ready for support with your next step, or needing someone to stand in the gap with you to figure out what that even is, I'd love to create that space for you. And my intro clarity call is a great place to start, because life is too quick and too full to have to figure it out alone. Until next time, All Things Excellence fam, thank you for listening.